Hi friends, Mindy here. I have a process video for you today. I'm going to be working through day 5 of Tetelestai from By the Well for God. This day is called Behold Your King, and I'm just pulling out my little flashcards for this day that coordinate with the scriptures for this day. I'm going to be working in my little journal here and also in my little pocket Bible. So I have my kind of focal image already kind of picked out, which is this card that I made. I have a video showing how I did this. I ended up having to trim it down just a little bit to fit this, but I used the stencil and some modeling paste, and that's how I created this and did it over black cardstock. So I'm just looking at it here, and it just looks a little bit flat. So I want to try to add anyway some dimension. So I have these Pitt Artist pens. These are some brush tip markers, and what I'm going to do is just kind of try to add a little bit of shading and highlight. That's really hard to see on camera, but I just kind of went around. These are India ink markers, and so you have, when you kind of put it down, you have a split second where you can kind of move the ink around. And so what you see me doing is I'm just applying the ink, and then I'm just kind of blending it out. So I'm not covering the entire section. I'm just doing like the bottom and the right side or whatever. And this is kind of trying to show you, it's really hard to pick it up, but it just helped it so it didn't look quite so flat, you know, the way that kind of like acrylic paint can look. And so I went out through all the sections of that and just kind of added some highlights. And now I'm trying to decide what I want to do for this page. When I decided to turn on my camera, I didn't really have a thought about how this page was going to go, so I'm kind of just winging it at this point. So whenever I do that, I kind of try to just keep forward motion. And so I have those flashcards. I went ahead and decided I was just going to put some distress ink around the outside of them. I distressed the outside of that page there on the left. And originally I thought I was going to make a tip-in with this piece here, and then I ended up just deciding to make it a pocket and tuck some journaling spots in there. I knew there were several scriptures and notes and things that I wanted to include for this day, so I'm just kind of trying to toss around in my mind how I want to include all of those things and get everything kind of where I want it. So I don't want to use both of the flashcards. I'll save one for the little pocket Bible entry for this, because it was just too much competing with each other, because I have that really strong image. So what I decided to do is I'm going to make a pocket. And so I want to extend that pattern paper from the left side all the way over so I don't have that white strip. So I'm just cutting down a little section of this paper that matches the one on the left side there. And it's just a really beautiful kind of neutral page to work with. And so I'm just distressing it just like I did on the other side. And then I'm going to go ahead and go around, and I'm actually going to distress right down the spine as well, so that when I glue this down, you don't really notice that kind of stark white section. So this is going to kind of look like a hot mess, but most of this is going to get covered up by the actual paper. It just will help make that seem a little bit more seamless across there, because obviously I can't glue directly into the spine. So I'm using my Barely Arts Precision glue here to glue this down. It just gives you a little second to kind of get things, moved around in place. And you notice I didn't cover up the whole page because the cross section is going to be there. There's no reason to do that. It's just wasting paper. So I'm just adding the glue now to the 3 sides of this because I'm going to be making a pocket. This piece is actually still just a little bit bigger than my page, so it's going to stick out the top, which is fine. Just a little bit. It's just going to stick above the paper, but it's fine. So I'm just kind of holding it down there, and I pulled out some journaling cards. These came with the kit, and I think that at this point I'm thinking that I'm going to be using those and kind of tucking them in the pocket. And then this one I decided it would just kind of look really nice here, kind of just complement everything if I just had this down in this bottom left-hand corner, but it was just ever so slightly too wide. When I put in these pages into this journal, I kind of tore them down at different sizes and stuff. So what I'm doing here is I'm just trimming a fraction of this off, just so that this will fit on this page, because I was just going to glue this down at the bottom. And then so I went ahead and made sure to trim around all 4 sides just to keep the proportions of it the same so that it doesn't stand out too much. And then I'm pulling out some of the fabric. This is actually different fabrics that I had left over from either covering the journal or from covering the pocket Bible. I saved all of those scraps, and you get quite a lot of fabric actually in those pocket Bible sets, and so I just saved all of that. And here I'm going to pull a little bit of this fabric, and I'm going to create some pleats. This is something, if you watch Taryn at Wonderfully Made Handcrafting, she does this a lot. And so I'm kind of stealing her idea here. So I'm just making some pleats, and then I'm using my tiny attacher to staple them together. I didn't want to use like my little handheld sewing machine. It was just too difficult on a piece this small. So I'm just going through here, and I'm kind of like creating the little pleats and then stapling them. And then this little piece I'm going to glue to the back of the flashcard that says Exalted on it. And I'm doing that just to kind of give that a little bit more of a visual interest, because I have a lot of kind of really strong pieces happening here with the journal card and then that stained glass piece over there on the right. So just again using my precision glue from Burley Arts here just to glue this down, and I end up needing to add just a little bit to the back side. This glue works great. You could use Fabri-Tac if you wanted to. Fabri-Tac kind of annoys me because it's really stringy. Sometimes those solvent-based glues are kind of, you know, they work well, but they're a little bit stringy. So off camera, I went ahead and wrote out all my notes and the scriptures that I wanted to include. I had these flashcards, or these journaling cards. I wrote out the scriptures and some notes, and then I added some little fabric pull tabs on them, and they're going to tuck in my little pocket. And then this piece, the scripture ended up being a little bit longer than what I had room for, so I needed to go to the back. So instead of being able to just glue this down, I need to make this now into a tip-in so that you can read the scripture on the back side. So I am going to use some clear sticker paper. Whenever I have sticker paper that I'm printing off, I just tear I keep the excess, and then I can use that instead of having to use washi tape, which kind of covers up your images. I can use this, and it will work the same. So I started on the back side, and I'm going to actually put this on both sides. Whenever I do a tip-in, I like to make sure that I have either washi or the sticker paper on both sides, just so that you don't have any of the exposed adhesive. So I'm just gonna kind of put this on. This was a little bit tricky because I literally had to go right up to the edge. There was not a whole lot of space there. So I'm gonna make sure and go through this with a bone folder and just make sure everything is pressed down really nice and tight. And so because of the fabric on here, this made this little flashcard just a little bit dimensional, and so I wanted to use some of this foam tape. I actually got this foam tape at the Dollar Tree, and I was really surprised, so we'll see how it works. But it comes with 3 different widths, so I just used kind of the biggest one and just put a little strip across the back, and that's just going to help kind of even out that section where that fabric is. And then here, I felt like now that I have this tip-in, I need something in here to kind of add some interest. And you can see I'm going to add that little section on the right. I lost some footage here because my camera decided to stop recording. I've been having problems with my phone, so I actually lost some of the first part of this too with working in my pocket Bible. But what I did is basically I just took one of the cards that came with the kit, and I added some of the paper that coordinates with the kit, and now I'm adding one of the frames that also was a part of the ephemera. I am using one of the stickers, and then I used some of the alpha stickers, and I spelled out King in that frame on the front side. I'm sorry for all of the footage that got lost. I thought I was recording, but my my camera had shut off. So I just wanted to include this because I've been having a lot of problems and a lot of things are not getting posted, and so I just wanted to include this. But I wanted to add a little bit more interest, and I originally was going to use my little flashcard, and I like trimmed it down, and this is the part that got lost. I trimmed it down, and I trimmed it down wrong, and I couldn't save it. So what I end up doing is just taking the like scripture reference, and just to add a little bit of balance down there in that bottom left hand corner from where that torn edge of the paper is exposed, and that just kind of helps balance everything out. And I'll include some close-up pictures at the end, but this is what everything looks like. Here you can see the pocket and that I created, and then this is the entry for my little pocket journaling Bible here. And again, I'll put in some close-ups so you can kind of see how everything went since I lost some of that footage. But if you liked this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. That just helps other people find my channel. And subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, bye.